I am delighted to present to you my latest research, which is called The Future of Analytics is Interactive and Collaborative. Hi, my name is Sanjeev Mohan, and I am a principal with a company, my own firm called SanjMo. Prior to this, I was a Gartner analyst, and I covered the data and analytics space for many years. Since I've been an independent analyst, I have written a book on data products. I publish a lot of blogs on Medium. I record my bi-monthly podcast on YouTube. In other words, I get to research a lot of interesting topics. Some of my research has been in the space of analytics. If you've been to South Africa, Cape Town is a wonderful city. Tabletop Mountain is one of its highlights. But tabletops are not a good idea for analytics. You don't want analytics to plateau. Yet, according to Gartner, almost 80% of investment that is made towards financial services applications does not bear any fruit. Another Gartner, ex-Gartner colleague of mine, Cindy Howson, has also been studying the space for many, many years, and somehow analytics are plateaued at 25%, and they just are not becoming more mainstream within an organization. So why is that? Well, it turns out that today we want to walk through what is the analytics journey, where have how have we progressed through it, what is a role that traditional analytics play, and where does that role end, and we see the rise of something called data applications or data apps. And then obviously if we talk introduce a new concept, we want to talk about how do you choose one. And then we will end with a wonderful discussion I'm looking forward to having with my friend Justin, but we will come to that in just a few minutes. So let's talk about the analytics journey. So as you can see, it's an accretive uh, process where we started many years ago with very monolithic applications like ERP applications built on things like Fox Pro, and this was in way back in 1990s. When we had these ERP monolithic applications, everything was bundled into a single deliverable. And that included the way we access the data, the way we wrote business applications, the way we queried it, the semantic model, and the underlying database were all put together. Then we start seeing this unbundling of analytics happening. So the first thing that happened in 2000 was standalone business intelligence or BI tools came into existence. But these were either offline, you would actually make a copy of data onto your thick client, your laptop, your PC, or you would directly connect to the server and you would do a direct query. So things like business objects, Cognos were the first generation. Then we see Tableau, Click, Power BI. We see new generations. So in this, what happens is that the semantic layer has been separated from the underlying analytics engine. Then we saw that a lot of people were not very satisfied with the user experience, and they said just give us the APIs. If you give us the APIs, we can then embed it into our existing applications that our internal users have come to love and know about. So we see this rise of embedded analytics through the use of calling an API. Now, progressing further, something major happened in 2018 when this whole idea of data mesh started taking place. Now, with data mesh, we realized that we were in a situation where the data engineering team was becoming a bottleneck. The use and the desire of having multiple use cases for data was exploding. With that exponential growth, the data engineering team was getting requests from various different business users. So we got into this era of distributed or decentralized architecture where the business units owned the responsibility for developing analytics. And what one of the biggest benefits of data mesh was data as a product, or what we now call data products. And with that, we applied the product management practices and discipline to building out analytics from a business point of view. A lot of these applications were still only read only, but how do you interact with these applications at very low latency? This is the spot where we have now advanced in our journey through these things that we call an interactive data applications. So here we've unbundled the visualization, and we have a composable, fungible application framework that we can use across the organization. And this is where we see rise of Plotly with Dash. We see Snowflake acquired a company called Streamlit as a UI to build applications really fast. We see Databricks acquired a company called Redash. So this is the new way of how we are doing analytics. Now, the question that begs is so why not keep using traditional analytics? I'm glad you asked that question. So, first of all, traditional analytics are excellent for offline reporting. Even today, if I have a dashboard for a standalone read-only static dashboard, I would most likely go with a traditional analytics. It's great for read-only and has been very popular. So we want to keep our traditional analytics in place while we start exploring these new horizons. So let's look at what is the difference between an interactive data app and a traditional. Let me go through traditional and interactive line by line. So first of all, traditional apps are great as management dashboards like CFO dashboard. They deliver excellent actionable insights, and you can drill down and do all kinds of analysis. But if you want to do an app that also has write back capability, then you need to think about interactive data apps. Next point, traditional, excellent for predetermined drill down analysis. But if you want to ask new questions that have not been asked before, then we need to think through our apps. For example, we have some customization that's available in the user interface, but because now we are enabling new questions to be asked, so we want this customization to be expanded beyond not just user interface, but how about maybe I want to customize my logic, I want to even customize the data that is being accepted. And the personas also change. UI, traditional UI, business reports, dashboards are great for citizen data analysts. But now as I discussed in this whole concept of data mesh and data products, we want to enable business users, because business users are the ones who understand the data the best. So why not give them the power? Going back to traditional, we discovered these through a marketplace, but now the marketplaces are expanding. The marketplaces now include not just the reports, but also the build process. Because remember, we can customize these interactive data apps quite significantly. So the ability to also discover the process, and so it's a very rich experience that you get out of a marketplace. Previously, it was mostly pre-built reports. Now, the power is in the hands of business users who can discover the apps and the build process, and they can build their own data visualizations on the fly. So with that, I am super delighted to jump into a panel discussion, because the best part of my job is to actually talk to practitioners who are in the trenches and who are delivering amazing results. One of that person is my good friend Justin. Justin, welcome to this panel. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, Sanjeev. Nice to see you.
Thank you, Justin. Let's get started with your introduction.
Yeah, I'm Justin Andrews. I'm the Senior Director of Innovation and Insight at Shorelight. which is a company that partners with colleges and universities to recruit, support, and retrain international students.
That is great. And where are you calling from today?
I'm actually in Portland, Oregon. Shorelight's a Boston-based company, but I'm on the West Coast.
Okay, very nice. Justin, please tell us what is a data application in your words. How does it differ from a traditional BI or even a data science machine learning tool?
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's a question that we get asked a lot. The main difference, and you bring this up in your talk, an interactive application, a Dash app, and specifically in my case, is not a report. It's a tool of discovery. And the way I see my role in building Dash apps is to create a tool that end users can actually discover the insights that they're in the best position to generate.
So you've been using traditional analytics for a long time.
Yes.
What was the trigger or the specific need that made you want to explore new options like Plotly Dash?
Yeah, when Tableau came out, it was a game changer and unbelievably exciting and offers some of that interactivity. But we eventually ran into some limitations with Tableau, including collaboration in terms of getting that TWB file back and forth among a team, and the ability to call in APIs is extremely challenging that we found, and the ability to keep all of our code in a single place, right, rather than calculated fields in Tableau that are built into the dashboards. That the ability to actually do ETL work, verify it, and launch visualizations from the same platform was really a game changer for us.
So was it ease of use that was challenging, or was it the user experience, or was it the ability to reuse formulas and KPIs?
Reuse was a major issue. And also the ability to really, Tableau is great out of the box, but if for fine tuning and for really getting directly into exactly what we want, exactly how we want to look and feel, we found it increasingly challenging in Tableau to do that.
Got it. So now that, by the way, let me ask you, how long have you had Plotly Dash within your team? How long have you been working on it?
I've been working in Dash for about a year now.
I see.
And I worked in a lot in Plotly before, but in Dash Enterprise specifically, it's been about a year.
So can you then walk us through which are some business capabilities that you are enabling now with Plotly?
Yeah, we've built a kind of series of mega apps, just huge programs with 75 visualizations and 30 interactive or 30 filters across multiple stages of a student enrollment funnel. That's a major initiative at my company.
So that's very interesting. So this major initiative, what is the business impact? And I'm very curious to hear from you. What can you achieve today that was very difficult to do or you couldn't do earlier on?
Yeah, it's part of it is maybe the most important part is something that you alluded to in your talk, which is that on-the-fly analysis, which is we created this tool for senior leadership to use to kind of understand our enrollment funnel clearly, but we can't anticipate all of their needs. Now they say, we would really like to see this view of the data. we can prototype it within an hour and have it deployed in Dash Enterprise same day. And it seamlessly integrates, and it's unbelievably fast how
So
quickly we can get them those insights.
that is very interesting. I was just laughing, thinking we live in the same day delivery era. So why not
Yeah,
for reports?
that's right. Yeah, and
Yeah.
once we set up the ecosystem, and once we set up the architecture, adjusting it, adapting it, revising it, adding to it is really overwhelmingly easy, and collaborating on that process too, which is maybe the most important piece. We can
So
divide it into a team.
yeah, and so who do you collaborate with? Is there a good harmony between the business and the IT teams?
Oh yeah, yeah. We we're all working towards the same goal, so you know we work very well together, and it's a small team. But even in a small team, we haven't found a solution that's as effective as Dash for being able to load it into Git and divide work, store it there, and deploy it uh, quickly and easily. So
That is music to my ears. Why I'm saying this is because I talked about data products, how important are the product management best practices and discipline to apply to data. But what I didn't talk about was how important it is to also apply software development lifecycle best practices, what we call DevOps. We've,
yeah,
we've been doing those for applications for the longest time, but not for data. And so what I'm hearing from you is that you are now able to do that very easily through the use of Plotly. Is that
that's
correct?
right. Yes, absolutely.
I see. The other thing that you also mentioned, or you were talking about how you recognize the need, uh, but then how did you find about Plotly? I know you came with some experience from what you when you did your introduction, but are there other products you looked at in this space?
Yeah, we did, but there was no real choice in terms
Hmm.
of because what we were really interested in, we weren't interested necessarily in the easiest solution in a low code environment. That wasn't what we were setting out to do. We were setting out to how can we integrate APIs? How can we stay in Python when we're developing? And how can we have a single environment for analysis, for ETL, for coding, and then for visualization, and then for interactive visualization specifically. And we were already huge fans of the Plotly library as an open source library. So
Hmm.
we've been using Plotly for a long time before Dash came into our lives. So
Got it. So now we've got Plotly App Studio. What
yes,
are your plans about Plotly App Studio?
App Studio is so interesting. It's such an because when you're coming from building these mega apps, um, uh, you forget that there's also serious business needs for quick analysis,
Hmm.
real on the fly analysis. That App Studio it makes ridiculously easy. And for me, I tend to work in a Jupyter notebook. I love working in a notebook. I don't like leaving Jupyter notebook. And with App Studio, you can launch the app directly from the Jupyter notebook. It really simplifies the entire callback process. It's extremely easy. You don't have to declare anything. It just loads up your data frames and your visualizations, and then allows for really amazing out of the box design control. So
So that is very good to hear. I'm just curious, going back to what you said a few minutes ago, not just mega applications. What's a mega application? How do you define it?
I maybe I define it by amount of time it takes
I see.
to build, but it's when you're really looking at a kind of high priority, comprehensive data view of some kind or another, or one that's going to be deployed to multiple partners, for instance, or needs to be, with scheduled updates. With App Studio, it's more, here's an analysis that maybe the board needs to look at one specific topic. Here we go. We can launch it in App Studio, one-click deployment, and everyone has access to it. I also used App Studio, though, for a really interesting, I don't know if it's an intended use case of App Studio, but I use it for ETL work and data verification, because my notebooks can get a little bit messy. I'm not sure necessarily where my data frames are, and I find interactivity in a notebook to be a little bit painful. So I'll be working on an ETL project. I'll load it in App Studio, and I'll do my data verification work in App Studio and an undeployed app. And it's amazing. It works unbelievably well for that.
If you were to take that same data transformation job and run it in, say, dbt or some other tool, or a report that you built in Plotly Dash, you run it in Tableau, I want to understand the apples to apples comparison. How much time would it take in Plotly versus, say, dbt or Tableau?
Well, it's a good question. In my experience, it's Tableau is faster. But what you're able to do with it is less. So if you want to do a quick data visualization, it can work. But if you want to, but I think we all know data visualization is kind of the last piece of a long journey, and because Dash integrates so well with IDEs that I can stay in my same environment, and I'm not sure where my non-Dash work begins and ends. It's all part of the same organic process. So
wow, very nice. So Justin, I can go on forever. I think we've reached end of our time. It's been so amazing talking to you because you've got so much experience hands-on and you're seeing the results. I want to thank you sincerely for educating us on real-life examples of using Plotly Dash.
Thank you, Sanjeev. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.